as you guys can see, I've already got the tool up here. So it's at least the way I use it. I'm only using their 2empowerFM for the search functionalities. I know they have some other plugins for printing and SQL injection and stuff like that. But I basically just keep this open on my computer. So I mean, you've got some different preferences here. This is the default quick key for me to open it up. So on my computer, that's Command Option Shift and X. So a little more complicated than just like a Command F. But with it open, if I put the focus on an individual script, I can come here and I can type in a variable name and find that individually, or I can hit find all and it'll give me a list. Or if I came over
And
here,
find all does everything in the oh, you can choose all script or this.
yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
Um, so in this case, if you click into the script, it's only going to search that script. If you click back over here into the main uh, list view, it'll search everything. And just for brevity's sake, I'm not going to do that right now
Yeah.
because it'll take a while to search all the scripts in this solution. So it's really good for quickly finding, let's say, I mean, you need this email to see how it was defined. It's quick for finding that. But then the other thing it can do is, let's see if I've got a good place to do this. Um, I don't have a great one here, but you can do find and replaces. So if I had a solution recently where an IP address was hard coded across multiple scripts and we needed to update that IP address. So it was just a matter of coming over here, putting in the variable name that that IP address was assigned to and hitting find all. And then once it found them, I could go script by script, double check it, click into the script, come here and hit find and replace and put in the IP addresses. So it was what turned what we thought would be a several hour process into 15 minutes of the 2 minutes it took to do the replace and then just verifying stuff. It unfortunately doesn't work with variable names. Like it's going to insert it as text. So if you had a calculation in here, like this JSON variable that's being referenced inside this variable, it would replace that JSON variable as just the string JSON, as opposed to actually creating the reference if you needed to update the name for some reason. Um,
Gotcha.
so that's one like shortcoming of this currently, or at least as far as I understand it, it's a shortcoming. Maybe there's a way around it that I don't know. Um, but yeah, so that's what I really use it for. It's just strictly in the script space, finding things quickly, which beyond what you're seeing there, it can help when you're trying to do like just like identifying where a specific message is coming from, like an error code that might not have been captured properly, or an error message. I've had weird custom dialogues pop up, and it's like, where is this coming from when there's a 14, 15 script deep call stack? And just coming in here and putting in a couple of keywords, you can search it really quickly and make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, man, I don't know why, but I immediately get a whole bunch of like, red flag firing scenarios because of my history with replace field contents. And I love,
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of, in other frameworks, the grep functionality and using to replace. I use that all the time. But something about replace all in FileMaker kind of just gives me some warnings. But I do like when that functionality works, it's fantastic.
yeah, I don't care how bulletproof the solution is or the tool is. I'm not one to just blindly trust that either.
Yeah.
So at the very least, I mean, you see what was returned here for just this email variable. I'll go through this and make sure it all looks like what I think it does, what I think it needs to, and then I'll come in here and do a replace on individual ones just to kind of troubleshoot it first.
Nice.
Um, because if you just do that, you should be able to. It's not on the script anymore. But this replace chosen would change, so you'd be able to come and do individual ones. You can select certain ones within it and do replace chosen on just those, and so on.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you're wise to go script by script because with a variable like dollar email, its context could be different from in a given script.
right, I don't know if you were there for my initial example. We had a solution recently where there was a hard-coded IP address that needed to change,
Yeah.
uh, but it was set on variables throughout the solution. So just typing in the IP address here and doing a find on it returned everywhere that it was. And it was a printer IP address, so updating that I knew was going to need to happen everywhere. So just coming here and finding everything and replacing it all in one go was a solution.
I wonder, does that work with calculations? Say if you replace the calculation with another version of the same calculation, is
Yeah,
that
it
as
does.
effective?
Well, again, it breaks references with variables, and
Right.
it's been a while since I've done that. I think it will retain like table field definitions in there.
Hmm.
Um, so long as there's more to it than just that. But if you're just trying to insert that, it's going to insert it as a string,
Okay.
which would obviously break it.
Right. Right.
Hey, here's a question. If, say you had send mail script steps, for example, and you had one person's email address hard coded in there, and they had left the company and you were trying to remove them from every send mail step, could you use this to find all of those send mails and update them all at the same time?
Yeah, you could.
Ah,
Hmm.
So yeah, if I needed to come in here and find my own email, you just come in here and do that. Like that would be a viable solution.
And it
would it
would
Um,
it
would it
would just
actually
update the send
update?
mail script step, like, or it would so it would remove that, say like as if it was set as a string somewhere. But if it's in the send mail script step, it'll even remove that from that script step, huh?
yeah,
It
Dang.
would really.
Oh.
that was another area we used this in. We had another IP that was an email server that needed to get updated, and I
Mm.
used this tool to update those quickly.
And that IP was specified in the step itself, not as a
Yep.
variable, but actually in the
Yeah,
step.
it was actually inside this guy. So going in here and updating this stuff.
Wow.
Interesting. That would have been a game
Wow.
changer.
Yeah, I could see that being very helpful. One of my favorite things about F perception is I can see not only where values are referenced in a script, but if it's like a hide condition in a text object, or if it's a custom function, or all sorts of the sorts of non well non-script use cases. So I do like the idea of being able to see all the references of all possible use cases before I start going through and replacing them. But if you know everything's in a script, this is super handy.
'Cause, yeah, I mean it's the XML, right? So I mean
Right.
Right.
you're
Right.
Then if you say replace, it just will replace it with a.
oh, now it's going to give me other errors.
Oh, yeah.
Watch it make a liar out of me now. I
Like
updated it
is
recently
it
and I
because it's
haven't
in
tried
this
that since
script?
the update. So
You have it in this script? Do you need to change it to all scripts or whatever? Or are you?
no, I actually never changed this.
Yeah.
Um,
What if you changed it from being the blank to just a new
Another IP
IP?
or something. Yeah. Oh yeah.
yep, so there you go. It didn't want to do the blank for some reason.
Oh, it's because it's wrapped in quotes, so it's trying to do quotes inside quotes, and I don't think it knew how to handle that or something.
Yeah,
That
so
makes
there you go.
sense.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, you guys are starting to see why I like it. Like for quick finds on stuff, it's much quicker for me personally. than trying to make sure I've got a DDR exported and opening that up in FM perception. But I still do that, right? If I'm trying to, especially when I'm trying to figure out relationships, or call stacks, anything like that, the DDR is king still. This is just a glorified find tool.
Yeah.
I really don't know how it compares to things like the MBS plugin. I've got the MBS plugin, but I have not used it as extensively. I don't, does it have replace capabilities? Do you know?
The MBS plugin?
Yeah,
I'm
like
not
find and
sure.
replace? Okay. Um, so yeah, I have always seen 2empower as a very niche tool that nothing else is directly compatible with, not necessarily a replacement over the other ones we're about to discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the MBS tool where you've got the cursor up there in the MBS search area, you can type in $email and it'll highlight every instance in that script for you, but it doesn't do a replace as far as I know.
Right. And I mean, I love MBS for highlighting the beginning and ends of gates like this,
Hmm.
showing you when variables don't exist sometimes. Sometimes that's a kind of annoying thing when it gets defined somewhere else or
Yeah.
passed in, and it's saying, "Hey, this variable doesn't exist on line 300," when it
Yeah.
really will by that point. Um, I run into that a lot with iterators.
Yeah, I like it. And the MBS plugin, is so versatile because you can use it in a few different ways, even the free one. But the paid one, man, you really get a lot of value in that thing. So there may be a replace in there. I just haven't used it. Um,
Yeah, I have. Unfortunately, my experience with it has been when it was necessary more than just out of curiosity. Like I needed the MBS plugin for some existing solution, right? So I've not gotten the chance to really sit there and play with it to see what all it can do yet.
So Evan, it looks like you have the advanced tool. Is that correct on the 2Empower?
Yes.
Okay. So it looks like the non-advanced doesn't have the find all and the replace options that you're displaying here.
Yeah, so this is all the different stuff they offer. Um, oh, that's the other side of it that is huge that I definitely should have called out. Um, Finding a table occurrence on really ugly graphs is a piece of cake with this guy.
Hmm. Tell me more.
So you can come in here. This might not be the greatest file to show that off in. Um, but if you were to come in here and do, let's say barcode is one of them. You can find all the table occurrences, and then if you click on it, it's going to search it until it finds it and highlights that specific table occurrence.
Will it like
So
scroll to it?
That's
yeah, it'll scroll to it. Where it gets really, really like finicky. Well, it's not finicky, is not even the right word. Is if you have a bunch of collapsed table occurrences like this, and that's all you're seeing, you like this isn't really highlighted very well. And it doesn't always center it in the window. So there's times where I click on, say, barcode generator, and it says it's done searching, that it's on it, but then I'm sitting here trying to figure out where it's actually at in the UI still because it's behind here somewhere or it's off to the side here. So it doesn't do the greatest at like centering it exactly and making it super identifiable. But I mean, it's still light years ahead of trying to search this thing by like manually scrolling through it.
yeah.
And again, I know MBS is here, so how does this work? Does this do basically the same thing?
Basically the same thing, and it literally has the same problem. Now, it doesn't always center it well. If you have something, a table name that is like, concatenated, so your naming convention has multiple tables in the name of the table that you're looking for, it's going to start, actually, to be honest, I'm not quite sure where it starts. It seems random sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, same problem where it doesn't always center it. You kind of have to flip through the next a few times to really figure out where you're at, especially on a massive relationship graph.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I wish I knew of one that made sense to show off for this video right now, where I could show a bigger graph and how it jumps to it, but I don't know of any clients we could do that with.
Well, there's certainly an advantage there of using FileMaker's own built-in tool where you select relationships that are based on select tables that are table occurrences that are based on the same table, which you can do down below, but then you have to still hunt and seek them out.
Right. Right.
There
And
we
then if
go.
you typed in to the MBS, type in like CUS to ALO.
So there, it jumped to the first one it found, but you guys tell me where that's at. Like, if you
Yep.
don't know where it's at,
Yep.
that can be kind of fun to find. So let's go to one that's a little bit more obscure. CUSOPI. I imagine I had this there. I did a little bit better of a job highlighting it still.
Yeah.
Um, I would
Type
love to
in
see. Go
type
ahead.
in underscore IVS underscore. Just no underscore in front of it as well. Oh, weird.
So
Why
it
did it
found this
go?
guy. Pretty
Yeah,
subtle.
interesting.
Or if I do a find all, we've got a little bit better of a list
Oh,
here.
that's handy. Can you go to those from that
Yeah,
list?
you just double
Oh,
click whichever one you want.
that's nice.
Nice.
Um, so was IVS, was that underscore IVS a individual one, or you just wanting to see all of these?
I just wanted to see, yeah, how many times it'd find it and where it would land on the relationship
Well,
graph.
there you go. There's 54 matches of it, and you can
Yeah.
click on any one of them and it'll jump to it. I would love to
Oh,
see it like add some type of like flashing to these or jump your cursor to it or something. Like you know that
right.
accessibility mode where your cursor will grow
Yep.
for a second, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, that'd be beautiful. But yeah, this is exactly what I love this tool for, is just being able to get through these more complicated graphs very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will save a ton of time.
Seriously. Yeah.
Can you do this all on the free version, or do you have to get the advanced one?
I paid for this version. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Okay.
I think they've got a trial. Um, I don't remember. That free version, I think, was fines, but the paid one was the find and replace, if I remember correctly, or something like that. Um,
Looking on their website, I'm not seeing a necessarily free version. The
Hmm.
I'm seeing an advanced and a standard. The
yeah,
advanced is the one that has the find all and the replace. And that could be incorrect on that, but I'm not seeing like a free. They have a
okay,
free trial,
yeah,
a
Mm.
30-day free trial, but I'm not seeing necessarily like a free version.
Yeah.
Okay.
right, yeah. I was given a license through a previous engagement, and then when I started freelancing on my own, I immediately just bought my own license because it was that valuable to me. So I don't even remember if I really looked at the website other than to figure out how to pay.
Thanks, Evan.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, it is nice, Evan. You said there's no, you don't need a DDR for any of that, right? It's just all kind of like MBS plugin where you're just,
Yeah,
you down the
exactly.
plugin and then you're working.
Yeah, exactly. That way, like if all you're needing is fines, this is the way to go. You're not worried about outdated DDRs or exporting them or
Yeah.
having to open up DDR windows or anything like that. So it's been really nice for me.
Yeah.